Balaam said to King Balak, "Build me 7 altars here, and prepare 7 young bulls and 7 rams for a sacrifice." Balak followed his instructions, and the 2 of them sacrificed a young bull and a ram on each altar. Then Balaam said to Balak, "Stand here by your burnt offerings, and I will go see if the Lord will respond to me. Then I will tell you whatever he reveals to me." So Balaam went alone to the top of the hill, and God met him there. Balaam said to him, "I have prepared 7 altars and have sacrificed a young bull and a ram on each altar." Then the Lord gave Balaam a message for King Balak and said, "Go back to Balak and tell him what I told you." When Balaam returned, the king was standing beside his burnt offerings with all the officials of Moab. This was the prophecy Balaam delivered. "Balak summoned me to come from Aram. The king of Moab brought me from the eastern hills. 'Come,' he said, 'curse Jacob for me. Come and announce Israel's doom.' But how can I curse those whom God has not cursed? How can I condemn those whom the Lord has not condemned? I see them from the cliff tops. I watch them from the hills. I see a people who live by themselves, set apart from other nations. Who can count Jacob's descendants as numerous as dust? Who can count even a fourth of Israel's people? Let me die like the righteous. Let my life end like theirs." Then King Balak demanded of Balaam, "What have you done to me? I brought you to curse my enemies. Instead you have blessed them." But Balaam replied, "Can I say anything except what the Lord tells me?" Then King Balak told him, "Come with me to another place. There you will see only a portion of the nation of Israel. Curse at least that many." So Balak took Balaam to the plateau of Zophim on Pisgah Peak. He built 7 altars there and offered a young bull and a ram on each altar. Then Balaam said to the king, "Stand here by your burnt offering while I go meet with the Lord." The Lord met Balaam and gave him a message. Then he said, "Go back to Balak and give him this message." So Balaam returned to the place where the king and the officials of Moab were standing beside Balak's burnt offerings. "What did the Lord say?" Balak asked eagerly. This was the prophecy Balaam delivered. "Rise up, Balak, and listen. Hear me, son of Zippor. God is not a man that he should lie. He is not a human that he should change his mind. Has he ever spoken and failed to act? Has he ever promised and not carried it through? I received a command to bless. He has blessed, and I cannot reverse it. No misfortune is in the sight of Jacob. No trouble is in store for Israel. For the Lord their God is with them. He has been proclaimed their king. God has brought them out of Egypt. He is like a strong ox for them. No curse can touch Jacob. No sorcery has any power against Israel. For now it will be said of Jacob, 'What wonders God has done for Israel.' These people rise up like a lioness. Like a majestic lion they stand. They refuse to rest until they have feasted on prey, drinking the blood of the slaughtered." Then Balak said to Balaam, "If you aren't going to curse them, at least don't bless them." But Balaam replied, "Didn't I tell you that I must do whatever the Lord tells me?" Then King Balak said to Balaam, "Come, I will take you to yet another place. Perhaps it will please God to let you curse them from there." So Balak took Balaam to the top of Mount Peor, overlooking the wasteland. Balaam again told Balak, "Build me 7 altars and prepare me 7 young bulls and 7 rams for a sacrifice." So Balak did as Balaam ordered and offered a young bull and a ram on each altar. By now Balaam realized that the Lord intended to bless Israel. So he did not resort to divination as he often did. Instead, he turned and looked out towards the wilderness, where he saw the people of Israel camped, tribe by tribe. Then the Spirit of God came upon him, and this is the prophecy he delivered. This is the prophecy of Balaam son of Beor, the prophecy of the man whose eyes see clearly, who hears the words of God, who sees a vision from the Almighty, who falls down with his eyes wide open. How beautiful are your tents, O Jacob! How lovely are your homes, O Israel! They spread before me like groves of palms, like fruitful gardens by the riverside. They are like aloes planted by the Lord, like cedars beside the waters. Water will gush out in buckets. Their offspring are supplied with all they need. Their king will be greater than Agag. Their kingdom will be exalted. God brought them up from Egypt, drawing them along like wild oxen. He devours all the nations that oppose him, breaking their bones in pieces, shooting them with arrows. Like a lion, Israel crouches and lies down, like a lioness who dares to arouse her. Blessed is everyone who blesses you, O Israel, and cursed is everyone who curses you. King Balak flew into a rage against Balaam. He angrily clapped his hands and shouted, I called you to curse my enemies. Instead, you have blessed them 3 times. Now get out of here. Go back home. I had planned to reward you richly, but the Lord has kept you from your reward. Balaam told Balak, Don't you remember what I told your messengers? I said, even if Balak were to give me a palace filled with silver and gold, I am powerless to do anything against the will of the Lord. I told you that I could say only what the Lord says. Now I am returning to my own people, but first let me tell you what the Israelites will do to your people in the future. This is the prophecy Balaam delivered. This is the message of Balaam son of Beor, the prophesy of the man whose eyes see clearly, who hears the words of God, who has knowledge from the Most High, who sees a vision from the Almighty, who falls down with eyes wide open. See him, but not in the present time. I perceive him, but far in the distant future. A star will rise from Jacob, a scepter will emerge from Israel. I will crush the foreheads of Moab's people, cracking the skulls of the people of Sheth. Edom will be taken over, and Seir, its enemies, will be conquered. While Israel continues on its triumph, a ruler will rise in Jacob, who will destroy the survivors of Ir. Then Balaam looked over at the people of Amalek and delivered this prophecy. Amalek was the greatest of nations, but its destiny is destruction. Then he looked over at the Kenites and prophesied, You are strongly situated, your nest is set in the rocks, but the Kenites will be destroyed when Assyria takes you captive. Balaam concluded his prophecies by saying, Alas, who can survive when God does this? Ships will come from the coasts of Cyprus. They will oppress both Assyria and Eber, but they too will be utterly destroyed. Then Balaam and Balak returned to their homes.